following Christ. Don't forget that if you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and as soon as you subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you are updated as soon as new content is available. Also, if you use Facebook, please like us at the Watchmen for Christ as well as the Seal of God Network. Alright, Christ asked us a very sobering question in the book of Mark chapter 8 verse 36 and verse 37. And he says, "What shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?" We really have to understand what it is that Christ is attempting to ask us here. Because this question is really glossed over and overlooked in a lot of Christian circles. What Christ is asking is, in the world that we live in, it teaches us that we should glamorize and idolize certain things, particularly in the music genre. You see a lot of rappers, hip-hop artists teaching individuals or their listeners that an individual ought to gain money, they ought to gain a certain social status, certain vehicles, and hang around a certain type of group, that they should act a certain way, that they shouldn't be what's considered to be weak. They should date or be in relationships with a certain man or woman, or they should be promiscuous and deal with a whole slew of men and women. However, what does that lifestyle really gain you? You have to think about it in this particular context. When you gain a lot of money, you end up with more problems. Yes, you may be able to buy materialistic things. Yes, you may be able to have a lot of things. But what have you really gained? No one who has been supremely rich has ever lived forever. So eventually, even though you have all this money, the money cannot separate you from death. No one's money has ever stopped them from dying. So you have literally done all this to gain money, but you are still no closer than anyone else is to living forever or stopping yourself from being incapable of dying. Not to mention, most people that have riches to that extent have a lot of enemies. They are usually lonely individuals because they can't trust anyone, because everyone is generally after their money. People have envy towards them, and they usually want to do them harm to take the money from them, especially in the genre of the music that introduces or produces that particular stigma to show that you should have that type of money. Most people that have that type of money usually end up dying because they get robbed for that money. And not to mention when they attempt to tell you in the world that it's okay to be promiscuous, or that you should be a certain type of man or woman that sleeps around, or that it's okay to sleep around and have multiple guy friends as a female, or have multiple female friends as a male that you are engaging with in sexual contact. That is not very profitable for you, because you have to worry about communicable STDs, unwanted pregnancies. You have to worry about the mental state of those particular individuals. They may not be stable, and they may be willing to do you bodily harm because you have slept or engaged in sexual intercourse with them. And most times when that happens, feelings are intertwined, because God designed it that way, to be between a man and a woman who are engaged in the bounds of holy matrimony. Marriage is the only place where sexual intercourse is permissible in the eyes of God, because it bonds and bounds the two individuals together, speaking of husband and wife. So when you do those things, you have not really gained anything. You've actually lost out, and you're actually worrying about a lot of things, even though the world teaches and tells us that these things should be glamorized, these things are okay, these are the things that we should shoot for. These things bring us no closer to gaining any life than if we didn't have these things. So what shall it profit a man if he gains what the world has to offer? What does it profit you, young ladies, when you dress the way that you see these celebrity women dress, or these women on music videos dress? What does it really gain you except for a momentary glimpse of popularity, a momentary glimpse of individuals staring at you and lustfully desiring after you? What does it really gain you when you don't have men that are really desiring what's in your mind, they are only desiring your body parts. And once they get that from you, they have nothing else to do with you. Or if they can't get it from you, some are willing to take it from you. What are you gaining except for nights of misery, nights of woe, using body enhancements to enhance certain areas of your body that once you get to a certain age, those enhancements are no longer enhancements? What are you gaining? What are you willing to exchange for your life? What are you willing to exchange for your soul? What does it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world? This is what Christ is asking us. What are you profiting when you go out as an individual and spend copious amounts of money on a vehicle that can crash, that can be stolen? What are you gaining? What are we gaining when we have brothers and sisters in the world who are starving, who need food, who need shelter? What are we gaining when we want to be hip-hop music moguls? We want to be celebrities. We want to be superstar athletes so that we can engage in the pride of life, to have people gawk and stare and be in every moment of our most intimate personal lives. What are we gaining when we do these things? What are we willing to exchange our lives for? This is what Christ is asking us. What are you willing to gain and lose for this world, or from this world? What shall it profit a man if he shall gain everything that the world has to offer, or that the world tells him he should have, and be no close or no closer than anyone else to living eternally? And what are you willing to exchange for your own soul? Truth is stranger than fiction. And no matter whether you like it or not, truth always stays true. My friends, what are you willing to exchange your soul for? Material things that people will literally fight and kill you over? What have you gained if you win the lottery tonight and get robbed tomorrow and die at gunpoint? What have you gained? What are we gaining by seeking after what the world has to offer? What are we gaining? What are we willing to exchange our lives for? 5 seconds of fame and be lost for eternity? What shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what will a man exchange his soul for? No man is an island unto himself. Things that we do have effects on everyone around us, whether we are willing to accept that or not. The way we dress, the way we act, the way we talk, it affects people positively or negatively. So what are you willing to exchange your soul for? My friends, it's time. Jesus is coming back. We all need
wake up.